We are live. Hooray. Hello, everybody. Welcome in, boys and girls, cats and dogs. We are an inclusive channel here. And this is my topic Tuesday for today, which is, I believe, the 28th of December. Our topic today is going to be your predictable, boring year-end recap and predictions and goals for the coming year, that sort of thing. So, yeah, it should be okay. We never stick to the topic all that long anyway, so we just wind up talking about whatever we want to, and that's okay too. So I always start off while we are okay. Hello, don't believe I know you. We always start off talking about announcements and that sort of thing. Let me just say a little bit about my schedule. Today is Tuesday. Every Tuesday we do a topic. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Roberta. So, yes, today is Topic Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We usually do a Wednesday free for all at 6 p.m., which immediately follows Granny D, who is on from 5 to 6 every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thursday, I usually don't post anything. Fridays are. I call Fridays my formless Fridays because I don't really stick to any kind of a schedule, any kind of a structure. I just do whatever I feel like doing. And if I don't have anything prepared, then I go live and we have fun anyway. Saturdays, I usually don't post anything. Sundays, I do poetry readings. Mondays, I have conversations with Monday men. And I have to tell you, I have a really, really good Monday man coming up for next week. If you are a YouTube member, if you're a member of this channel, hey, Racine. If you're a member of this channel, then you will have already seen the preview link for next Monday's Monday Man, because as a member, that's one of your benefits. That's one of your benefits. You get early access to a lot of my scheduled uploads. And then we're back to Tuesdays. And today, being Topic Tuesday, we're talking about, because it's the end of the year, it's going to be your predictable and let's not make it boring. Let's, make up stories if we have to. Year-end recap and our goals for the coming year. In fact, I think that's a great idea. Let's all make up stories about what we have accomplished this year. Wouldn't that be fun? Hey, Pam F. Oh my gosh, let's make up stories. Ah. So, standard ice-breaking questions. What's on your hook? What's in your cup? For a lot of us, it's just after lunchtime. For many of us, it still is lunchtime. So, what'd you have for lunch? If anybody is watching us from overseas, from Racine, you got the yarn that you were expecting. Was that the yarn from the guy in Bulgaria? I believe it was. It's beautiful stuff, isn't it? Ooh, lovely. Anyway, yeah. So, Chris. Oh my goodness. Hey, Chris. Glad to see you. Wow. Chris is one of the wonderful gentlemen from the men's fiber retreat I went to in the mountains last November. Just over a month ago. It seems like so much has happened since then. Gosh. Mm. But anyway, we're talking about we're making up stories about everything we've accomplished this year. Um, I don't know. I could tell you things that I wanted to accomplish but haven't yet done. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Chris. Oh yes, I forgot you do work in the medical field, don't you? Yeah. So yeah. Excuse me. Oh. So what kind of goals do we all have for next year as well? Um oh, Racine, I would love have I seen pictures of that? If you're not a member of my I have a Facebook page, which is really about news, and a Facebook group that is more about community. So, if you would like to share that picture, I would love to see it, Racine. Hey, Cuppy. Uh-oh. Your husband washed your dishes, and now you have to wash them again. I've been there. I have been there. Hmm. A shadow blanket? So, anyway. Oh, gosh. I wish I had some finished objects at hand to show you what's going on. I have some works in progress to show you. This is um, a Tunisian mesh stitch shawl. It's going to be a diagonal shawl like this. This is a fingering weight yarn. It came from Daniel of Pawpla Yarns. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. Um, oh, Chris, you're going on a cruise in 3 weeks? Wonderful. Take me with you. Uh, um, what was I going to say? Yeah, that is, what did I do with the label? It's, oh, God only knows where it is now. Anyway, it was, that yarn was from Daniel of Pawpla Yarns. It's a fingering weight yarn. It's a colorway that he and I devised together that's called Ginger Bear. How cool is that? He only did it once, and even though it's sold out, he hasn't done it anymore. I could only afford to buy 2 hanks of it myself, but I think it's beautiful, and with this fingering weight yarn and this 4 millimeter Tunisian hook. Okay, bye-bye, Chris. I'm so glad you came. This is a 4 millimeter Tunisian hook, which is part of a set that was very graciously and generously given to me by Laurie Armstrong, one of our friends here in our community, for my birthday, which was earlier this month. Um, so I'm sort of excited about this, but because it's fingering weight and a small hook, it's taking forever. Uh, I'm sure you all know how that goes. But then also I had another idea because I mentioned long ago that I was going to do a tile poncho where it's just basically different squares that are sewn together and they make up a poncho. And I abandoned that and wound up frogging it, and I'm using some of the yarn for Hat Not Hate and some of the yarn for my dog sweater um, donations. And in case you're not familiar with that, I am encouraging people to and donate make dog sweaters and donate them to animal rescue, pet rescue organizations. And I, um, I sent some of those off yesterday, actually. And in fact, I made some with this yarn. This is some leftover Lion Brand, what's it called? Is it cotton candy? I can't remember. Anyway. Oh, wow. Well, learning is a really good goal for any year. I think that's great, Pam. Yeah, I amassed a lot more yarn than I expected to this year, mostly from my travels. Oof, there's my hook. It fell on the floor. Um, but I'm finding uses for it. Also, people, Racine, I got a notification that you um, sent me pictures. I will look at it as soon as we're done here, and I will um, tell you that they're beautiful because I'm sure they are. Um, Anyway, yeah, I have so much yarn now. I don't even, I never enter giveaways anymore. Very rarely. I entered Ginger's giveaways last week. Didn't win anything, but that's okay because I need more yarn like I need a hole in the head. Um, but anyway, I had an idea. At one of the retreats I went to, one of the gentlemen there knew I was going to be there. He is a viewer. He was destashing and decluttering, and he had some Lion Brand mandala, which I've always said is among my favorites. So he gave me some of that, some of his stash, and so my next project is going to be made with a whole bunch of that. I don't think I'll use up everything that he gave me, but I think it's going to be extremely colorful, and I hope it will be really beautiful. But I also have to finish this other project, this shawl. Oops, I just dropped my phone. This, I just love these colors. Isn't this gorgeous? I have to finish this, and then the new project with the Lion Brand. But I'm starting it out with some of this leftover Lion Brand cotton candy. But I've got a bunch of other stuff to use as well. And then I keep having ideas and not having the time to execute them all. Does that happen to you guys? You want to do more than you have time to do? Tell me about that. Tell me about your adventures with time management. I have on these Topic Tuesdays, I've talked about project management before because I used to do that in the corporate world. I wasn't very good at it, but I tried. Um, Project management. It's tough. It can be. Um, so what else is going on? So we're talking um, about what we have accomplished in the past year. Hey, let's make it two truths and a lie, or two lies and a truth about what we've accomplished in the past year. Make up stories. Just tell me anything. Just keep me going here. And then also what we'd like to accomplish in the coming year. One thing I have been talking about over the past year is compiling a pattern collection with multiple contributors to publish to benefit charity, and I chose the 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 Hunger Project for various reasons. I've written about it. I've done Facebook posts about it. I think I've done blog posts about it as well. Um, I want to accomplish that this year. Wow. I just had an idea of making it an annual project. Is that too ambitious? I don't know. Tell me. Do you think it's too ambitious? Um, and then what else? I just want to keep doing what I do. I love to crochet. I love to design. I love to do YouTube, especially these live streams and the conversations that I do. By the way, no, I've already mentioned it, but I have a really, really good interview coming up for next week's Monday Man. Um, if you are a member of this channel, you will have already received a preview link to view it right now and not have to wait until Monday to see it. Oh, hey, Kenny, I'm glad to see you. Hey, Nana, or Donna, Nana's Crafty Corner, Donna. Glad to see everybody who comes in, always. Hmm? I should take my hand away because this is my Bearded Yarn Dude's mug. I'm drinking coffee because I'm sleepy. I didn't sleep very well last night. Kenny, I saw that you were online live last night, but I didn't join you because I was in bed already, and you know I wasn't going to last very long. Oh, you shared out today's live stream, what we're doing right now? Oh, I think that's very kind of you if that's what you're saying. If anybody else wants to do it, I won't stop you. Let's see, what else? I was talking about the dog sweater project. If you look at my blog, and okay, there we go. In a moment, you will see a link to my blog. And scroll back one or two posts. You will see some links to free dog sweater patterns, and I'm encouraging people to make dog sweaters and blankets and donate to pet rescue organizations. Um, and if you don't know any pet rescue organizations, Google is your friend. And if you still can't find any, then ask me because I know of bunches. Oh, thank you, Kenny. That's very kind of you. Sometimes, because of the timing, sometimes people are not able to join in live, but more than any others, I think this is the live stream that I do weekly that people watch after the fact, um, which is good. I'm not objecting to that at all. Um, okay, what else? I was talking about the dog sweater project, the blog. I've got a Facebook page for news, a Facebook group for community. I have both of those are called Bearded Yarn Dudes. I have patterns on Ravelry. Nightbot has shown a link just a few seconds ago. They did that. I have merch on Teespring, although I haven't really put as much attention into that as I would like to. I should make that one of my goals. I should start writing down goals because if I don't write them down, I have started writing them down, but then I always put the list aside and lose it. That's what happens, really. But I should pay more attention to merch. What else do I have going on? I also have PayPal and Cash App if anybody is interested in that. But I'm not here to ask you for anything. I mean, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not here to ask you for anything. except that you just watch me. If you see ads in one of my videos, then, you know, give me 30 seconds of your life, and then you'll help me a little bit. Um, what else do we have going on? Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna post the link if anybody wants to come up and join me. So there's the link if anybody wants to come up and join me. And otherwise, I don't know. So yeah, I just activated the banner for the PayPal and the Cash App. That's not a big deal. I'll turn it off in a few minutes. I also have super chats available, and you get to see a really cute video. Anytime somebody does a super chat, you get to see a really cute video then. But that's what I do. I mean, I crochet, I write patterns, I do YouTube, I have fun. And I worry. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And let's see. Anybody else want to tell us? Let's talk about Kenny. Tell us about your accomplishments in the past year. Make them up if you have to. And what are your goals for the coming year? Anybody else who's just joined us? That's what we're doing today. We're just making it up as we go along. And, I'm just running my mouth, which, surprisingly, is not that uncomfortable for me. Who knew? Oh, yes, of course. Nightbot is telling us to, hey, Michelle's Mosaics, glad to see you. Um, yeah, Nightbot is telling us to hit the subscribe and the thumbs up. That's always helpful too. Heck, hit the thumbs down if you want. That counts as an interaction as far as YouTube is concerned. Hey, Petra, so glad to see you. Wow, it's been ages, hasn't it? Petra, oh, here's the link. If you want to come up, please do. Let's see. We were just, I was just like running through, the standard announcements, and our topic for today is, what have we achieved in the past year? And, we're making it up if we have to. And then what are our goals for next year? 13 mosaics? Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Oh, excuse me. And let's see what else. What have I accomplished in the past? Oh my goodness. A year ago today, I don't think I was writing and publishing patterns yet. And I first started doing YouTube. Hey, Joanne. I first started doing YouTube in October of last year, October of 2019, or 2020. So I'm surprised, actually. I think I've grown a lot. I have certainly, hey, I've certainly learned a tremendous amount, and I have felt the warmth of the YouTube yarn community, and I will never stop praising the YouTube yarn community because it's a beautiful thing. Um, And what else have I done? So I've published some patterns. I've made some really good connections. I've sort of found some specialties within the YouTube um, broadcasting that I do that I think are my long suit, and some things that I've decided are not really strengths. So I'm might do them less frequently. Um, Other people disagree with me. They think I do just fine, but I don't enjoy them as much as some of the things that I do think are my strengths. Um, what else? So for the coming year, I just want to keep creating designs and writing patterns and doing stuff and learning from the community and giving to the community however I can. I don't think that's a bad goal. Petra, what do you want me to elaborate on? Oh, hey, Cammy, glad to see you. Been a while, hasn't it? Strengths. Oh, my strengths. That's not. Hey, moms, glad to see you. Yeah, it's not always easy for me to talk about my strengths. I'm sure I'm the only one in the world who has that issue. Um, but yeah, I think that I do the interviews or conversations. I think I do those well. I think that I do the live streams reasonably well. I certainly enjoy doing them because I like interacting with people. Um, Especially, since we've all been so isolated. And I have found that the social isolation that we've been doing in the past couple of years has affected the way that I interact with people in real life too. Because I'm comfortable doing this, and interacting with people this way, and just becoming very close to people this way. But I can have great anxiety if there's actual one-on-one interaction, or even worse than that, group interaction in real life. And I'm sure it's always been there, but I think that what we've been through in the past couple of years has made it worse. So that's something to deal with as we move forward, because it just needs to be dealt with. Um, yeah. Strengths, though. Oops. Oh, hey, Kenny. Hey, you are glad to see you. Oh, Donna's gonna go, but we'll see you later, Donna. Hey, Kenny.
Hi, David.
Wow, it's all guys up here. Who'd
Yeah,
have thought it? So
you
what's
are
what's going on, guys?
Not much.
not much.
What you working on, Cammy?
I am working. I got a new Harry Potter book for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's the crochet version of the knitting one I got.
Oh.
And I am doing the house scarf.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
It's Tunisian crochet. I'm doing the Hufflepuff one.
It's Tunisian.
Yep, it's the Tunisian.
Oh.
It's the Tunisian knit stitch.
If you could find a picture of that, and email it to me, I'd love to see it. I mean, I understand it's like a paid pattern, so I'm not asking for that, but so actually that's another thing I might say that I've accomplished this year is becoming comfortable with Tunisian. I used to say I hated it largely because I never felt like I could do it very well. But I've become a lot more comfortable with it. And I've already published one Tunisian pattern, and this is another Tunisian design. This uses the Tunisian mesh stitch.
Ooh,
Nice pattern.
And this is some of the yarn that I got from Daniel. That is just gorgeous yarn. Cuppy, you flatter us. Don't stop. So, Kenny, what's going on with you nowadays?
Well, I finally got a power steering pump put on the 1985 Ford Econoline van yesterday.
That's cool.
It was the original one that had been put on since 1985.
So then you took it out and fixed it and put it back?
Actually, I just replaced it with a new one.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I just went and ordered another one and just replaced it. And see, what I like about the ones that they have is they have them to where you don't have to. They have them already filled and sealed to where you don't have to bleed it after you put it on.
I wish I understood more about mechanics. So let me ask you: are things that are new today, are they like backward compatible, or do you have to find something that is specific to a range of model years?
You have to make sure that it's for that specific year. It doesn't.
Petra, I'm sorry that you have to go, but I hope I'll see you again soon.
Most things aren't interchangeable. Some things are, but most things aren't.
Now, I know you're particularly fond of Fords.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if I were to... now, I do watch some automotive channels, and I learn about which models and which model years have reputations for reliability and unreliability.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know there are some Fords out there that seem to be good cars, particularly some recent model Fords.
Mm-hmm.
So, next time I go looking for a used car, I'll call you up.
Yeah. Well, and they don't. That's pretty good to last 36 years, 37 years. For that power steering pump to last that long. And
that actually is, yeah.
That actually goes to show that back then they were made much better back then.
yeah.
Well, my understanding, at least as far as Fords go, and I think a lot of the domestic manufacturers, is that the trucks are made a lot better because they have to be, because the commercial audience demands it, whereas the retail consumer audience, they'll put up with a lot more crap and cost cutting and just awful stuff. Is that true?
It would probably depend on what. See, the ones they have now, they got all them sensors on it, and you usually have to take half the car apart to get the one sensor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas the older ones back then, you don't have to do. You had a lot. You didn't have all the sensors, and and they were a lot easier to work on and cheaper to work on back then.
You know, I would not object to having that. There's a specific age range of like the Crown Vic and the Grandma and even the Lincoln
Car.
that was like mid 90s to maybe up to 2010, 2012, something like that, that has an amazing reputation for reliability. I would not object to those at all. And they're, hey, LaShara, and as
They
far
were
as I
good.
understand, they're not even all that bad on gas, even though they're full size cars.
Mm-hmm. When they did away with carburation and went to electronic fuel injection, and that's when they really, and when they, as in '96 is when they really started putting the sensors on them. That's when the OBD2 onboard diagnostics second generation started, was in '96.
Mm-hmm. So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, if you don't want sensors, and you don't want to have to spend $200, $300, $400 on one sensor, depending on what it is, I wouldn't recommend it. But so
My grandpa in 1998, he had gotten what was it, 99? He had gotten a 98 Jimmy.
mm-hmm.
And back then, my uncle worked for GM. So back then, my uncle could, if my grandpa was having a problem with something, he could drive it over to my uncle's, and my uncle would be able to fix it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I bet he, my uncle didn't know how to fix it, it'd have to be taken in, like a newer car, like his new truck.
Yeah, we had when I was a kid, we got a '77 Chevy Caprice Classic, and that was the first year that they downsized. And I tell you, I am still seeing full-size GMs from that generation on the road today, still running. And I sort of wish I still had that car because I inherited it. Actually, it became a family heirloom when I was in college. But yeah, some of those cars from that era. But at the same time, there were some other cars that from that era. Sometimes they call it the malaise era, where they were just not very attentive to quality at all. Hey, Samantha. So I don't know. I'm torn. I don't know. And as someone who doesn't really know very much about mechanics, generally speaking, I trust newer things a little more. For better or for worse.
But I mean, everybody has different likings, so you know.
Oh yeah. Now, as far as styling, I don't think the mid '60s, even into the early '70s, for GM could be beat. I think those are the most beautiful cars ever.
We have a 1976 GMC Royal Sierra pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the message that Samantha's wanting the link to come up?
I did see that, but we sort of have a full house right now. I can't really. It's any more than two people is a little unmanageable. I hope you understand, Samantha. Hey, Lori, I'm glad to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say was, and see, the older ones, they were made out of metal. They were tough. back then. Whereas these now, they're mainly plastic and fiberglass. You barely hit something, it's just going to tear it all to pieces.
Oh yeah.
That I've seen that a lot about where like a 5 mile per hour fender bender is going to cost a whole bunch of money to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Whereas in the old days, they wouldn't have wouldn't have done a thing. Michelle says her dream car is a 66 Chevelle. Mine is a 65 Bonneville.
Samantha, I am doing a Tunisian scarf.
What stitch is that? Is that all Tunisian simple stitch, or is it other stitches as well?
It's just the Tunisian knit stitch.
Oh, the knit stitch. Oh, that's cool.
Yep, my dream car would be any year model, Chevy Camaro, orange body, black top, and a 6-speed manual transmission.
Well, when I was learning to drive, we had a 75 Vega, Chevy Vega, that was orange. It had absolutely no options on it. It had a 3-speed manual. In those days, 4 on the floor was racy.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I learned to drive a manual, and I drove that one around a long time too.
What about the 3 on the tree?
No, I've never done 3 on the tree, but I understand how that would work.
Yeah,
My mom said it was tricky to get used to. You had to, every time you got into it, you had to relearn, basically relearn how to drive it.
And nowadays, you don't even get automatics on the tree. It's always in the center
On the
stack.
floor.
Yeah. I sort of miss those automatics on the tree.
Certain ones, I think a lot of GM trucks and Chevy trucks are like that, and I think maybe the Tahoe might be. But I know the 2 trucks are still on the column.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know ours is on the column, and it's automatic. It's got a 350. 350.
Is that the Econoline van you were talking about?
No, the GMC truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The GMC truck's got a 350 automatic transmission with turbo.
Yep.
Puppy misses her 74 Gran Torino. I remember those mid-70s Gran Torinos. I remember Starsky and Hutch. And I don't remember which one of them had the Gran Torino, but it was such a racy car. It was very sexy.
That was Hutch's car.
That was Hutch's car.
It was Hutch's? Yeah. But yeah, I remember those because I was so into cars. I still like cars a lot, although I don't follow it as much as I used to. There's so much now, and nowadays the automotive press, it's all about these exotics. I don't care about the exotics. I don't want 14,000 horsepower. I don't want to go 200 miles per hour. You know, I want a little bit of zip when I try to get onto the freeway, but beyond that, and, you know, some fuel economy and some driving response, but beyond that, I don't need the rest of that crap. And believe you me, at my age, I certainly, forgive this language, I don't need a penis car.
But anyway, nothing too. Back then, they were made out of cast iron. They had cast iron in them.
Oh, yeah.
These now, they're all aluminum. And see, aluminum. If you get an aluminum engine hot, you're pretty much, it's going to warp pretty easy.
It's going to warp, yeah. I've heard people say that. Samantha is asking about making her first YouTube video. I would say just go for it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
go
what I was
for
gonna.
it.
I was gonna say those same words. Go for it.
And start posting them. And you if you do different kinds of videos, you'll find out which ones you like to do best. And more often than not, the ones that you like to do best are the ones that will get the best response. That has been my experience. But I'm certainly not a YouTube expert. I mean, I've spoken to YouTube, goddesses with huge followings, and even they say that they work with YouTube coaches on how to maintain and increase their audience and improve their content. Yeah, I mean, everyone seems to agree that just do it. I mean, I honestly, this is my pattern with just about everything. I talked about it for a long time before I actually took the plunge. That's okay if that's how you work. Because I was doing a lot of analysis mentally. I was trying to figure out what was going to work. And it still took experience beyond that to figure out what really would work. But yeah, go for it. When you're ready. And if you don't feel ready, it's okay to wait too.
Yeah. Samantha, I have one video on my channel, and that's it.
Mm.
And that's all you're ever going to get out of me.
Really? Why is that, Cammy?
I have super anxiety. And knowing that people would are expecting something out of me, I can't do it.
But you always seem comfortable when you come up on people's lives.
Yeah, that's because I'm used to being around people, or like being like a co-host. But if I were to do like a live stream and be the host, I'd just be like paranoid about it.
I will say that when I started doing live streams, I was a little more scared than I am now. Now I enjoy it.
I'm a better co-host than a host.
Yeah. Cuppy is saying that consistency is key, and I have always heard that. Yeah, I try to keep a regular schedule, and I think that has been just keeping a regular schedule has been very good for me.
Yeah,
I've met some milestones as far as YouTube goes that I'm rather pleased with in the past year and a half. And I think the consistency helps with that. I mean, not all of my videos appeal to everyone. I mean, I love doing my Sunday readings, but not everybody likes poetry. That's okay. I love doing these live streams. Not everybody is able to catch them. Not everybody wants to catch them. And that's okay too.
So I got a new mic on Thursday.
Oh, cool.
And I got the boom on it now. Do I sound okay?
You sound fine to me.
All right. And then I'll do a test. I'll take it off and you guys tell me what you like.
Okay.
Okay, the boom's off. How do I sound?
I don't hear a great difference.
All right. And I forgot to show you. I got a new phone stand for my aunt.
Oh, that's cute.
It's the Detroit. Now, pardon my French. We call them the Detroit Pussycats in this house.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. If you know the National Football League.
Yeah, those sports things. Yeah. Well, whatever. But yeah, I'm actually a bit annoyed because either a kitten or 11-year-old Cocker Spaniel chewed through the wire of my ring light, and it's not one of those wires that can be replaced.
Oh yeah.
So my ring light, I can still use it as a stand for my phone, but
Yeah.
the light itself, not so much. Oh well, anyway. But also these, I'm wearing earbuds with a built-in microphone, and I got them really, really cheap. I think I got them at Burlington. Hey, D. Campbell.
Hey,
Um,
D.
I
Hey,
got
D.
them really, really cheap, and people are telling me that my sound is okay, and that I'm really pleased with the earbuds as well because they're noise blocking, and I don't hear what's going on outside of this room. So I had another set of earbuds like this with a built-in microphone, but people were telling me occasionally that that the microphone was not working and they couldn't hear me. And then I had an external mic, and they told me I sounded like I was in a cave when I used that.
So
So
with this mic, do I sound like I'm in a cave with this mic?
no, not at all. You
This
sound
is what
just
it.
fine.
Yeah, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't hear a problem at all.
I was helping a lady tag last Thursday because I only worked half a day last Thursday,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna do the same this week. And I was helping her tag wares the store, and I pulled up. Now she was tagging, and I was just setting them up and getting them in a line for her, so she could just go, go, go. And I found that in a bag, and I said, "Holly, I am so taking that. That's mine."
Ugh. I thought of you last week, or maybe it was the week before. I was at Goodwill, and I got myself a nice tweed blazer and a
Ooh,
pair of pants, and I got this glass. I love cobalt blue glass, and I also got a Christmas mug. I love thrift shopping. I can't stand to
yep.
pay retail for anything nowadays.
I love thrift stores too.
Mm-hmm. But
After
I
I
saw
bought,
you when I was there, because I know you work at Goodwill.
oh yeah, the table I have that my computer is sitting on, I bring it home, show my mom, and she goes, "You're a hoarder."
I'm definitely a hoarder, especially where yarn is concerned,
Oh
but
yeah. So then
also
the
with
next,
old paperwork, old
oh yeah,
mail that I haven't even opened yet from years ago. Okay, Lori, I'm sorry you have to leave us, but I'm glad you were here. I sent you an email. I hope you have time to look at it today.
the next night at dinner, I said, "So, Ma, whose idea was it to have me volunteer at the store? Not mine, not Dad's, not the girls, Madison and Tessa. That leaves one person, you."
Ah,
Which that shut her down because you know how it is with pets. You treat them as if they're people. So I'm like, it wasn't Madison's, it wasn't Tessa's, it wasn't Dad's, and it wasn't mine. So that leaves one person. Who's the one person I didn't mention? And she's like, me. I said, yeah.
well, yeah, don't worry about that. Just do what you do.
And now she's like, oh yeah, you're their biggest customer.
Ah,
I said, I know that's right. So this month, I limited for the entire month. I limited myself to $30. I spent that in 2 days.
it's easy to do.
Oh yeah.
It is easy to do. I actually, I'm, I'm determined not to buy any more yarn. I ordered something. I ordered a gift from Michael's website. It's for my sister, but don't tell her because it hasn't arrived yet. Um, but I could have added some yarn to it in order to bring the total up high enough so that I would get free shipping. But in the end, I would have still paid more money for that total for free shipping plus sales tax, as
Oh
opposed
yeah.
to what I I was paying anyway, so I chose not to buy more yarn, and that was a bit of a struggle. But I cannot buy more yarn. I keep
Well, yeah,
saying
that's what my mom
I'm
said. My mom said, I'm not buying you. I told Morgan, my sister, I said, I told your sister not to buy you a gift card, and I'm not buying you one. So it's like you have enough yarn, but there's in this book there's a baby blanket I want to do for
mhm.
my new niece or nephew because it's one of those that can go either way for any sex. Because the background is right here.
I like that. I like that, and I personally don't agree with people who assign specific colors to boys or girls.
Right, and let me look at where is it?
Cuppy
No,
likes
I like-
to buy yarn and cleaning products. Cuppy, if you like to use the cleaning products, then come over to my house.
Oh yeah, D. I am working on.
Oh, show that picture again, Cami, the one you just had.
Oh, this is the burrow blanket. It's just a whole bunch of granny squares.
I like those colors. I like the way it works together. Is it all traditional granny square?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, D. Give me 1 second. The Hogwarts scarves.
That's the one you're working on right now, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. My
I had to go up 2.5 sizes. It calls for a H or a 5mm. I'm using a 6.5mm.
is that because you're doing it in Tunisian?
No,
Well,
it has a tendency to curl no matter what you do. And thank you, Jennifer. It
hey, Jennifer.
it has a tendency to roll. So
Yeah.
it always so whatever's on the label that TL Yarn Crafts, she always says
I love her.
Oh, so do I. And she said I always go up 2 to sometimes 3 sizes bigger than what's on the ball band.
Oh, of course, yeah. I think that's a universal recommendation when you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Tunisian
So
is
this
you
is just Red Heart
upsize.
Super Saver. This is Red Heart Super Saver,
Okay.
which calls for a 5.5mm, an I9. So I basically went up 2 sizes to a 6.5.
For your Tunisian hook, I would have gone even larger.
Yeah.
I mean, when I do, let's see, here's that hook. When no, that's not it. When I'm using like worsted weight yarn, I use this, which I think is like an 8 or a 9mm.
Oh yeah.
The end fell off of the cord. This is what I do.
Oh, that's clever. And she said she did some video on like the Tunisian net stitch. And she said every time you go in and you bring that loop back up, pull on it. Kind of like extend it a little bit.
Do you know, I always say that when doing post stitches too, because with
I've done that.
traditional crochet,
Oh
post
yeah.
stitches can curl, and I've had it happen on some of my stuff. You know, it's gonna feel like you're pulling through too much yarn, but you're not.
Right, and then when I'm doing the backward pass with this stitch, what I've been doing is as I'm pulling up, as I'm going to take it back, I'll pull up so that these 2 stitches are extended that I'm going to go through, which I think helps.
I have had LJ is here. Hey there, and hey Janet.
Hi Lauren.
And
Hey, Lauren, and
who's the Lauren? Is LJ Lauren?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can hardly keep track of my own name, let alone anybody else's. What was I going to say? I've been doing a lot of Tunisian in the past week. Do you ever have the experience where you pause in the middle of a row and then you pick it up again and you can't remember which direction you're going?
Yeah. It's like the same when I do knitting.
Mm.
I've got to, like finish. Like when I'll show you. This is a good example. So this scarf is out of the knitting book, and it's going to be for my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for each one of these, I had to. I don't care if my alarm on my watch, the ding that you always hear in people's live streams when I'm up, like it just went off, but I'm not. I'm on your panel, so being up here overrides it.
Oh, is somebody else going live right now then?
No,
Okay, because
it's
what
still
what what we used to do on Tuesdays is at 3 o'clock we would go and see Brenda the newbie crocheter, but she's no
yeah,
longer doing her 3 o'clock lives on Tuesdays, so we can go long.
right. So these with there's these designs on there. I had if I was like in the middle of a row doing the design, I had to literally finish that row, or else I wouldn't. Because you're going from knit to purl, purl to knit,
Yeah.
and usually we have like dinner around 4:40, quarter to 4 or quarter to 5, 5 o'clock, and normally I'll go out at like quarter to 4 or quarter to 5, where there's like 10 minutes left of cooking. My dad's got 10 minutes left. I would. I don't care if I was. It was 4:45, and I was doing the scarf.
You gotta
I would
do what
have
you
to
gotta
finish it.
do.
Yeah, I would have to finish it before I
Yeah.
could go out. Because then I wouldn't. I'm like, you're sitting there. You're like, okay, I did. You look, and I'm like, okay, there's 4 knits, and then okay, oh, knit 5, and then purl 30, 13, and then I'd have to look at the pattern and count to where I was. So it was easier if I just finished it.
Knitting is still a mystery to me, and I'm okay with that because there's
Oh
still
yeah.
stuff for me to learn with crochet.
Oh
I
yeah.
s I see things that people do with crochet that a lot of it I have done with other people's patterns, but as far as creating my own stuff that looks that way,
Right.
I I haven't done it yet, and I want to. I wanna do beautiful things because I like beautiful things. I mean, in fact, in a broader sense, I've written about this before. Beauty itself is like my connection to the divine. Oh yeah, Dee Campbell says she always has to at least get to the end of a row.
Now, if it's just like my normal knit dishcloths, where it's just garter stitch all the way back and forth, I can
Hmm.
leave that in the middle of a row because there's no purling. You don't have to
Yeah,
remember was I
no
knitting or was I pulling.
counting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was working with this. Um, this is like this beautiful fingering weight yarn and this 4 millimeter hook, and it was just making me crazy. And I had to just put it aside. And then I picked up a larger hook and some worsted weight yarn, and then I did a proof of concept of the very same idea in the worsted weight yarn, and it took no time at all, and it was a whole lot easier to do. And then now I come back to this, and it feels a lot easier to do.
Oh yeah. Like when I was doing that scarf for my sister, I got so flabbergasted one day. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do like a granny square. And then once I finished that scarf, I took it out.
I like to, when I'm between large projects, I'll do something simple like a hat, or lately I've also been doing dog sweaters. I like to do dog sweaters to donate to pet rescue organizations, and I also encourage my viewers to do the same, by the way. I need to manage where my face is in the frame. But um, yeah, hats for Hat Not Hate, dog sweaters, that sort of thing. And then I'll pick up another large scale project. And
Oh yeah, once the granny square I'm working on now, once it gets bigger, like row like 40, I'll
mhm.
end up putting it down to take like a break and then do like a washcloth or two, then pick it back up.
Do you do many hats?
Nope. But when my niece or nephew's born, I might do like a baby hat.
I have, if I can find the PDF, I have a pattern I downloaded. It was a free download that is just a basic cap that is sized from preemie size up to adult large or XL. And it just goes through different stitch counts for every different size. And if I can find that PDF, I will send it to you
Yep.
because I think you'll find that useful. But it was a free download. You can probably find it yourself on Ravelry if you search for free crochet hat patterns.
Oh, don't you just love going to Ravelry?
I wish other people. Well, no, let me see that. Let me restate that. I have patterns on Ravelry, and I wish my sales were going better. I've got one that I'm going to put up before the end of the week, and this shawl that I'm working on will be up soon as well. But I do wish that my sales were a little better.
I'm just sitting here looking at my movies.
Your movie?
Yeah, my tree right now kind of is blocking my TV, so during the holidays I can't watch TV. But my brother-in-law, wait till you see the movies he gave me. These?
That's quite a stack.
Wait a minute. And these.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh yeah. So these are all for my brother-in-law.
Wow.
And then I got for Christmas season 10 of Bones, NCIS and CSI, NCIS and CSI, and then the complete series of JAG.
Mm.
Oh, I love that show. And it's seasons 1 through 10. And I'll show you. It's really cool how it came.
Yes, I don't watch an awful lot of TV. I remember JAG, I remember CSI and stuff, but
Did you watch the new CSI?
No.
Oh, I like that show. I liked it.
No,
So
I honestly,
this is what Jack came in and looks like.
Wow.
The first one is 1 through 5. This one is 6 through 10.
Oh, hey, Nisi.
Hi, Nisi. Oh yeah, Janet. He
Hey, Nisi.
Once he'll get new movies, and then get rid of some and give them all to me.
Nice brother-in-law.
Oh yeah, because I don't know if his brother, his biological brother.
Oh, hey, cruising on the high seas. I haven't seen you before, but you're always welcome.
He'll give them to me because he knows I'll watch them.
I'm sorry, Kenny. Did you say something?
Oh, I'm just saying hello. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, Nisi didn't get a notification. I'm so sorry about that. But I'm usually on at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. 2 o'clock Eastern. Ah!
A question for me.
I saw that. That's funny.
Yeah.
I wonder that.
Yes, I actually went to sleep at 7 o'clock, and I slept until about 1 p.m. So.
Oh, did you fall asleep on your own live stream again?
I haven't been awake very long.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But yeah, What else? What were we talking about? Yeah, entertainment. For me, lately, it's been British history documentaries, British literature documentaries. I should have been a scholar. I certainly should have been British. I mean, like about 4 centuries ago, I would have been British because that's where I come from. But um, that's where I've been for my entertainment lately.
Yeah, I won't
Um,
watch. I don't usually watch like movies until like the weekend, like Saturday, all day Saturday and Sunday, and then like 6:30 on Sunday when Kelly goes live. That's kind of when I shut it down, and then go to YouTube for the night on the weekends.
I don't have a regular YouTube schedule of people that I follow. I mean, I try to catch Affordably Geeky. I try to catch Hook to the Left on Saturday. I try to catch Granny D when I can. Otherwise, it's just spontaneous usually.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
I used to not be able to on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I used to not be able to catch Carrie because she'd go on at 10 Eastern, which would be 7 o'clock her time.
oh, okay.
But now that she
Um,
goes on at 11, I get to catch her while I'm eating lunch. Today was funny. She comes on after Auntie Dana, and I say, Carrie, guess where I am and guess what I'm doing? And she sees me and she goes, let me see. You're at the Goodwill store on your lunch break.
yeah. Wow. Janet is asking about a specific Premier yarn that I have not used yet, so I don't know that yarn. I mean, that's something other people, there are a lot of people who do specific yarn reviews. Um, I'm not an early adopter, whether it's yarn or technology, um, because most of the time what I have already is good enough
Yeah,
and I
that's
don't
me.
need to go out and buy other stuff. Um, Sometimes I will comment on what looks like gimmicks, like specifically packaging gimmicks.
Yeah.
And there's one that we saw in the past year that I don't think is going to last all that long.
You see,
Um,
not yet. Hang on, I'll tell you on the couch. I am on row 22. I can only do amagurumi intermittently.
Nisi is going to start live streams again on the 6th, which is Epiphany. So we'll start singing hymns to Nisi then.
I'll have to see if I've got the notification bell on.
So I try to keep a regular schedule, but I can't commit to following other people consistently. I try
Yeah,
to catch Dana is another one I try to catch when I can, but my morning sleep schedule is often quite irregular. I also try to catch Carrie, the Yarny Elephant, when I can. And then also, it's hard for me sometimes when I'm in other people's lives to pay attention because I always have a project in my hands. It's hard for me when I'm doing my own live to have a project in my hands. I've learned that over time because I try to pay attention to the chat,
yep.
and it's if I look away, I miss things. And so that's why I was doing this like solid granny square here. I could not possibly do this Tunisian project while doing my own live stream.
And that's kind of like why I like if I'm doing like this stuff or like a certain
Uh-huh.
thing where I gotta go to the stitches, it's easier for me to be up on the panel because then I can sit there and see the chat and talk to them, and then tell them the answer instead of sitting there and looking up and stopping and typing.
Mhm.
Because I'm constantly looking down to go into the right stitch.
But I'll also be like, I'll be going into like Microsoft Word to try to edit something that I've written, or one of my blogs to try to edit something that or even write something new, or I'll be trying to like make photographs and post them on Instagram, or maybe I'll just have to take the dog out. It's I mean, I like sitting here all day long, crocheting all day long, I call this my work. I stopped calling it my job because it affected my own outlook, and I think it affected the way people perceive me as well. So it's my calling. It's my vocation. I am here because I love crochet, and I'm still working to learn what I can communicate to people that way. And that's okay. It's a process for all of us.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Susan.
Hey, Susan.
So anyway, yeah. So and if I'm in other people's lives, I'm always doing something else. This morning I had to, it was yesterday, I think it was. I recorded an interview, and then I had to edit it, and just in this case it went so well. All I had to do was slap on some new stuff or some standard branded stuff at the beginning, at the end, and I didn't have to edit the interview itself. But I watched the whole thing again on iMovie, and then I'm going, God, what a nice guy. I wish the conversation had never ended because he's so nice. And actually, that happens a lot with the guys that I find. So, and I'll just mention again that any members of my channel have early access to that. Otherwise, it goes public on Monday. Oh, Nisi, while you're making sandwiches, I could use one.
What kind of sandwich are you planning on making him?
I'm sorry, Miss. Who was saying that?
I was asking Nisi what kind of sandwich he's planning on making him.
Do you know what I was thinking just this morning when I was looking in the refrigerator? We have still some leftover turkey that I have a recipe for it's totally peasant food, which I love. A chicken casserole that, you could use leftover turkey for that as well, with like a cream of this or that soup. And just mix it all together, and then put some stovetop stuffing on the top, and you bake it for a while. I mean, that would be a great casserole.
Yeah, I love casseroles.
Me too. I love casseroles. I grew up at my mother's elbow in the kitchen, and so I learned a lot more than I realized at the time. Racine is driving on winter road conditions. Be careful. Do not text while you're driving. Fargo. Wow. I lived for many years in Minnesota, but I never made it to North Dakota. Hey, Tina Madden.
Hi, Tina. Oh, there's on Facebook, there's this really funny lady. I don't know her name, but her Facebook pages, that Midwestern mom. Oh, and she goes, "It's time to make Minnesota salads that aren't really salads." It's okay.
Joy!
Oh my god, it's hilarious.
They're usually based on Jello, right?
Oh yeah. She goes,
Yeah.
now you take a whole can of this and put it in, and you take a whole container of Cool Whip, and you put it in and you fold. And people always they've been asking me now, how do you fold it in? And I said, I don't know. You just fold it in. What's so hard about folding it in? You just
I,
go
I,
yes.
I love that Minnesota / North Dakota accent, and I've as an adult I've been there a couple of times for different business reasons, and I would meet up with online friends there, and I would and they would joke, they would say, "Oh no, we don't talk like that. Oh no." It's so funny.
Creations by a Yankee, Christina Anderson. One day we were talking on Messenger, and the way she said North Dakota. I said, "Oh, you're from Minnesota."
Dakota. Oh,
And she goes,
you
"How do
gotta
you know?"
you,
And I
you
said, "The
gotta
way you
make
said
that
Dakota."
that
And then she
that
said
oh, it
Minnesota.
has to be a very long oh. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
North Dakota. Now there, don't you know? Yeah.
Oh, and I said, "I know. I've heard that, so I know exactly." I said, "You're either from Minnesota or North Dakota." And she goes, "Minnesota."
Oh yeah. There is someone on the Food Network, a woman from, I think she had grown up in like the New York Tri-Cities area or
Yeah.
tri-state area, and she married a man and moved out to somewhere near the Minnesota North Dakota border, and so now she's a farm wife, and she has a blog, she has cookbooks, she has a show on the Food Network. She does really good stuff, but I love watching that. I mean, I don't often enjoy the Food Network nowadays. I prefer to call it the Game Show Network. But when it's real cooking content, I really
Right.
Girl Meets Farm. That's exactly what it is, I think, Pam. But I like the actual cooking content.
Yeah, so do I.
The whole the competition stuff really, really, really very severely turns me off.
Hey, Granny.
Granny! Hey, Granny!
Hey, Granny D.
Wow! But yeah, we were just talking. Oh God, we've talked about everything today, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we have. And y'all making me hungry talking about food.
Oh, I love food.
Yep.
I cannot eat as much as I used to. Like 20 years ago, almost exactly, I had bariatric surgery, so I cannot eat as much as I used to, but I sure enjoy it when I do eat, and I make sure I do. And life is too short for bad food.
Yeah. I refuse. I don't. I'll eat anything except for rice pilaf and Brussels sprouts. Those things I'll gladly rebuke.
Actually, I like rice pilaf. I'm ambivalent about Brussels sprouts. I mean, I've had them good and I've had them bad, but I don't seek them out.
It depends
Yeah.
on how Brussels sprouts are made. Now, I've had some really. I used to not like them myself, but then I got a hold of some one time, and they were actually pretty good, and I fell in love with them ever since.
I think it's the smell when they're boiled. I think that's what's gotten me.
Well, you know, all Brussels sprouts are is little baby cabbages.
That's exactly what my mom told me, and I said no. Because it's weird. She don't care for cabbage, but she'll eat Brussels sprouts, and I hate.
You hate
the Brussels sprouts, but I love cabbage.
Actually, my ex used to love Brussels sprouts. And
Ugh.
you can get them from the grocery store. They've already been shaved up, like very very thin slices. But if you like drizzle them with like olive oil and salt and pepper and any other seasonings you want, and then roast them, he loved that. Um, I never really got into it all that much. It was for me. It was always an acceptable vegetable. I'd prefer like broccoli or asparagus or green beans, but
We had a
Brussels
good
sprouts were
recipe for
okay.
Brussels or cauliflower and broccoli Christmas Day. So you take like a roasting pan, put them in. And they, mind you, they were separate. And my aunt took, the cauliflower and broccoli, poured olive oil over both of them until they were kind of coated. Then took the everything bagel seasoning, put it on top of them, and kind of mixed them in
Oh,
and put them on spread them out, 15 to 20 minutes in the oven at 350.
that sounds good.
And she
That
said
sounds
I
good.
kind of checked them at 15 minutes just to see. Ooh, they were good.
Now, you know what I love is roasted asparagus. When I
Oh
was
yeah, so do
growing
I.
up, I thought I hated asparagus, but what I hated was canned asparagus because I grew up with these canned vegetables that were like horribly overcooked and mushy and disgusting.
Oh yeah.
But
My
the
dad, he takes them in a pan and puts butter in the garlic paste that you put in the fridge, and he'll put that in there, and then put the like that and on top of the asparagus, and then cook it. But I got to be careful with the asparagus because it's bad for gout, and I have it.
oh, I have gout, or I have had gout.
Once you have it, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, I have not had a flare up in a very long time, for
I
which
haven't
I'm
had a flare
very
up since I
thankful.
got
Yeah.
my allopurinol.
I don't even take medications anymore.
Oh, I had
It
to.
just hasn't happened in a long time. But, I know the potential is always there. But
Yep.
asparagus, my favorite way to do asparagus is roasted in the oven, with some olive oil, salt, pepper, perhaps a fresh
Oh
herb.
man.
I think it's really great with thyme or chopped
Ooh.
rosemary. It's just amazing that way. It's so good. And you know what else? People talk about asparagus where in order to find out where yeah, how to like snip it off, they'll say snap it and it will snap at the right place. Don't
Yep.
do that.
Nope.
If you just take your vegetable peeler, peel the outside on the lower end of the asparagus, and the rest of it will still be tender, and you'll get more asparagus flesh, and it'll have that wonderful flavor. And then, if you want to, you can save the peelings and put in a vegetable stock of some sort.
Exactly.
Oh, Racine is leaving us. I'm so
Bye,
glad you're
Racine.
here. Yeah. Well, Granny D, you and I both grew up in that Southern tradition where they were cooked till death, and then there's no hope of resurrection. Um, and I don't mind that so much. But some vegetables I like to have a little more life in them, like I don't know. I know that my mother didn't like it that way. She's no longer with us, but my sister still doesn't like it this way. You see a lot on the cooking shows now. They'll blanch them for a couple of minutes and then put them in cold water, and then they'll like saute them with whatever kind of seasonings they want, usually garlic and butter, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But it still has a little bit of crunch and it's not mushy.
My mom and I were just talking on the way home from Christmas that we both agree. We like cauliflower either way, cooked or raw, but we both prefer broccoli raw over cooked.
Honestly, I don't care if it's overdone or if it's still crunchy. If it's a vegetable I like, I'm gonna like
Right.
it usually.
And I
Um,
told my mom, I said I'd rather if I want it cooked, I prefer cheese over it, but I prefer broccoli raw with or without dip.
Now, my mom used to cook like green beans for an hour, even in
Oh,
the pressure cooker, an hour with like potatoes in there. And of course, there would have to be bacon grease or bacon itself or a bit of ham or ham hock or something like that because you had to add the flavor. And that's okay. I will gladly eat that all day long, but I will also eat it with if it still has some crunch to it, some spring to it. I like it always. I like vegetables. I love fruits more than I can say. You
oh yeah.
cannot, peaches, strawberries. I will never stop singing the praises of peaches and strawberries.
Now
And
I'm a little
and
biased about
raspberries
peaches.
and blackberries. Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
Um. Now I've had both Georgia peaches and Romeo peaches, which is it's a city up here in Michigan.
Mhm.
I prefer Romeo peaches over Georgia peaches.
That's okay.
My great aunt, every year at the reunion, she would go to the farm, go to a pick your own peach farm, and bring over an entire basket full of Romeo peaches to our reunion every year. And then her youngest daughter did it for a while, and then she quit coming. But I could eat me like 5 or 6 of them and not get
Yeah.
sick of them.
When I was a kid, one of the other women that my mother taught with, she used to go away for the weekend to the farm where she had grown up just to, visit her family, come back with a carload of rhubarb.
Ooh, I love rhubarb.
And so she would distribute it to, all of her friends. So we would always get a bunch of rhubarb. And my God, the things you can do with rhubarb. Rhubarb crisp, rhubarb jam, rhubarb strawberry jam. Oh,
Ooh, oh yeah,
oh
rhubarb
my God.
strawberry rhubarb pie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My grandma used to make that. The one you always see above my shoulder.
Granny D says South Carolina has great peaches too. South Carolina I'm Granny D. I know you've seen this in Gaffney, right beside 85. This there's this great big water tower right beside I-85 that is in the shape of a peach, and I swear to you, it looks like a great big old hiney in the sky.
Oh, you want to hear something funny about Gaffney? So
Gaffney?
yes, it's where Kevin Spacey's character is from in House of Cards.
Now, when you say House of Cards, I think of the old BBC program.
Yeah, they made it, and I wanted to see it. I had seen commercials for it, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to see that. So my sister bought me at the time every season that was out, the first 4 seasons of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I haven't seen the American one, but I loved the BBC one.
I like it, and so then the next year, my mom got me the 5th one, and then she just got me the 6th one. And the first episode, something came up about Kevin Spacey talking about Gaffney. And for a second, I just thought they made it up. You know how they are in TV shows; they'll make up a city. I thought they made up the city Gaffney.
Well,
And
what's
then I read an
dangerous about
article.
that? If you try to make up something, you'll find out that it is real somewhere.
Exactly. And it was, so I'm like, and then just recently, I seen something about Gaffney, South Carolina, and I'm like, oh my god, it's real.
It is.
I thought it was fake all this time. I'm serious. I thought it was just fake.
Honestly, if you go to Google, search for Gaffney, South Carolina peach, you
They
will
talk about
see
the
that
peach
great
in
big
South
hiney
Carolina.
in the sky.
Oh yeah, they talk about the Gaffney peach, and they say it looks like a man's you know what?
I've never had that impression, and I've seen a few of those.
Oh
But
yeah, but that's what they could refer to, and they want to take it down. And
oh,
the
you're
in the
kidding.
not the city of Gaffney, just in the House of Cards,
Oh, I see. Yeah,
because
that's
somebody was a little girl had gotten killed. She was texting and driving, and she said, "Doesn't the Gaffney peach look like this and that?" And she ended up veering off the road, but it ended up staying.
so. Of course, the distraction itself is to blame, and not the person who was allowing herself to be distracted.
Oh yeah,
Isn't that a commentary on our age?
so when my mom and I are driving and I'm in the front seat, these are the people I take my phone out for. My dad, my sister, my mom's two sisters, my dad, my sister, our cousin Linda, and my dad's sister, and that's it. So I have a list of people, and if it's not one of those people, I won't take it out.
Copy, remind me where you are in South Carolina. I've been thinking about relocating somewhere inland, and looking at North and South Carolina cities and towns. 4 earthquakes. Someone said something about earthquakes in South Carolina yesterday. That's so strange.
Wow.
Interesting. I remember when I was still in the New York area, I remember feeling something that felt very, very strange. And then I later heard that there was a very mild earthquake that was felt in New York. And can you imagine if a real earthquake happened in New York? Because especially the older buildings,
Oh,
but
they collapsed.
none of them are engineered for earthquakes the way
No,
they are in California, you know.
exactly.
Boontown. Cassett. Ah. Oh, Nisi, that's been going on for years.
Oh yeah, when
Lack of accountability. Yeah.
my mom and I, at the start of it, we would only go to the bank and do the drive-through. And if we had to go into stores, we were masked up because she's a senior and I have asthma and I'm fat, so I have a uh act
Pre-existing
pre-existing.
condition. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
And I'm fat, which
actually,
were like the symptoms.
yeah.
If you have a pre-existing condition and you're obese, you're at higher risk. I'm like, great.
Well, actually, Nisi was not speaking specifically about the pandemic, but just saying that the whole behavior of refusing to take accountability and responsibility is
Oh yeah.
a pandemic as well. But also, I mean, there are things we could discuss about the pandemic, but I don't really want to get too far off course.
Yeah. I was listening to something, one more thing about it, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
They were talking about the difference between the 1918 flu pandemic and this one. once they realized that the flu pandemic was going on and it was serious, every single citizen took matters into their own hands, and everybody wore masks. No matter what, where they went, they wore masks. Now you're like, oh, they're taking away my rights. My governor's taking away my rights. You can't make me do this. And oh, we hear it, like I hear it now. I'm like, you know what? You want to die? Go for it. I'm all
But the
for it.
thing is, masks are more about protecting others than about protecting you.
Right.
It's like if you sneeze, if you cough, if you do anything, it keeps whatever you're infected with to you. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then we'll move on. No, well, very few people, at least people who say this, recognize the irony when they talk about, especially with vaccines, when they talk about my body and my choice. They do not recognize the irony when they're talking, if you think about other issues.
Right.
Let's talk about puppies.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly, Nisi. Yes.
Because it's like, I don't want your germs.
Exactly.
I got my
Puppies.
own.
Puppies.
How's your puppy, David?
He's doing rather well. We had a concern. Hey, Barbara. We had a concern last week because, he's older and he has some joint pain. He has Cushing's disease, which I don't really understand exactly what that does. I need to do some research to understand more. But so last week we had some concern because he wasn't able. I think he was experiencing so much pain he really wasn't able to move himself, and then he wound up pooping on the floor.
Oh,
And then we were moving him into the bathroom to give him a bath because he had pooped all over himself, and then because he was scared, he was pooping even more.
poor thing.
So you got to feel bad for him. So he's on some pain relievers for those arthritic joints, and I think that has helped a lot. When he is comfortable, he has some spirit in him.
Yeah.
And even if he's just, lying there on the floor, if I'll go up to him and say, "Hey, Popper," I see his little tail wag. He's back in the day, they cropped Cocker Spaniels' tails. So it's a teeny tiny little tail. I hope they don't do that anymore.
They don't.
So it's a teeny tiny little tail, but I can see it wag when I go up to him and greet him. So that's sweet. And he loves scritches. He doesn't like to be held because, when you pick him up, I think that aggravates those sore joints. So that's why you haven't seen him on the channel as much as I would like to feature him on the channel. But I have posted pictures on Instagram.
It's snowing outside.
Oh, Carrie was saying it was snowing outside where she lived. I asked her if she was going to go out and make snow angels. She said not very likely. Are you going to make snow angels, Cammie?
I don't know if it's going to be enough. Right now, it's just a dust. It's just a dusting on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Tina, our cats really don't mind the vacuum. The lady we got them from, I think she did a really good job training them. When my mom vacuums the kitchen or the living room or hallway, they'll look at her and go, "Really? You're gonna do that?" And they'll just look at you. But now sure to bring them into the room next door. And one of my cats were um on the bed, they'd look at it and run. But if they're in
Yeah.
the opposite room, they're fine. Or like if they're sitting on the couch, my mom can go right up next to the couch and vacuum, and it won't bother them none.
With our
And
little
they put
guy.
go ahead.
No, you were saying?
My mom, I insist on holding them all the time. They'll be in the bed next in the room next door. I'll just go in there and
Hmm.
I'll just go like this and just hug them like this. They look at me and go, yeah.
Yeah. With our
They
little
could care less
with our
with
little
me.
pupper, most of the time, whenever you see him move, he either wants food or he wants to go out.
Yeah,
Um, but sometimes he'll come into my room when I'm in the bed, usually because he can smell if I've got cookies or something on the nightstand. But he'll only get scritches. Although there have been times when I have walked away and cookies have disappeared.
yeah. And you got
But
to be careful if they're chocolate
yeah, exactly.
or
So
xylitol if you use that, the fake sugar, like the
no,
sweeteners.
no. But
I'd rather have
usually,
like I prefer if I want to use those fake sugars, like the sweeteners. I prefer Equal, the sugar that comes in the blue packages. I prefer that because that's what my grandma would use
I'd
because
rather
she was
have
diabetic.
honest. I'd rather have honest sucrose. Although I did grow up with iced tea with saccharin in it, but you know, high fructose corn syrup, all of these other artificial sweeteners, not so much. Uh, Saccharin, I'm okay with, even though I know it's probably going to kill me. But you know what? Who knows what's going to kill me? It's going to happen anyway. And
Yeah, it's weird. I find it kind of weird. I'd rather like if I were to make a cup of regular English breakfast tea, I'd rather have it black or with something like fresh fruit, like a lemon squeezed in it. Before I'll go and use like regular granulated sugar or some kind of fake sweetener. I will go for the lemon first to
with
sweeten it.
with a with a cup of tea, I like it with just milk, with
Yep, and
no
it's on
sugar.
on occasion, but normally when I make it, I have it black.
And with coffee, I like it with half and half.
Yeah, I do
Um,
too.
with
I quit
iced
drinking it
tea,
in '09.
coffee.
Yep, I quit drinking it with creamer in '09 because when my grandpa passed, I took over his seat and he would drink it black. And this was his opinion. If you were a man and you drank creamer with your coffee, he called it sissy coffee. And this
I'm not sure I can go along with that. It just doesn't appeal to me though. I don't like art. I don't like creamers.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
like.
I like the French vanilla. If I'm gonna have it, I'd rather have French vanilla. But this
I
is
don't
the
even
reason
like
when I
that. I
quit.
don't like. Yeah, yeah.
This is when I
I
quit. My mom was making coffee, and I heard these words. They were my grandfather's words. If you're gonna sit in my chair, you ain't drinking no God DAMN sissy coffee. And my mom, I come in to go, so then I go out and I come back in and pee, and I'm sitting there for a minute, and my mom comes in and goes, "You want creamer in your coffee?" And I'm like, "No, absolutely not." And I want cold turkey. Now,
mm,
if I go out to like a restaurant and order coffee, I'll taste it, and if I don't like it, then I'll add creamer. But if I like
see.
it black, then I'll drink it black. Otherwise, I'm
I
adding creamer.
I like a dash of half and half. You
If
know,
we get it, I'll use half
and
and half every time, every cup, pretty
yeah,
much.
and I'm not one of those people who thinks that animal fat is like the worst evil that is has ever been known to man. I can deal with half and half. I
Yeah.
can deal with full cream. I can deal with whole milk. I can deal with all of that stuff. I mean, look for how many generations our ancestors lived quite
Differently.
easily with all of that kind of food,
Oh yeah.
and it's only when the I don't know the the people in power started pushing um a lot of other things, especially refined carbs, and that sort of thing, and high fructose corn syrup, because of for economic reasons and not nutritional reasons.
Exactly.
That the health issues that we see in our society became so severe. It's not that they weren't there before, it's just that they became a lot more severe after.
Oh yeah.
So
What's and
it's not a direct cause and effect
right
thing,
for
and
years.
people want black and white answers to
Oh yeah, and
every
you can't give it to
single
them.
question. And there are no black and white answers unless we're talking murder.
Right. And like the juice, I have. I think it's Ocean Spray cran ras, either cran apple. I
Hmm.
think it's been in there 6 months.
It's probably just as fresh as it was as
Oh
when you
yeah,
put it in there because of the whatever is in it.
exactly. And there's
But
only one cup I'll use usually,
yeah.
and I'll have like one if I have that inkling of I need something really sweet to drink. I'll get my it's a Lions cup, a Detroit Lions cup. Now I think it's like 12 ounces, something
Hmm.
like that. And then there's a blue line on top. I'll fill it just to the top of that blue line, and then I'll drink it, and then it's gone. But I think the last one I think was in there a year,
Mm.
oh,
Yeah.
over a year, because that's
Mm.
another thing. The fruit high fructose corn syrup. That's another thing that's bad for gout.
That's bad for everything and
Yeah,
everybody, and there is no denying it unless you are a corporate lobbyist. There
right.
is absolutely no denying it. Other countries, other Western industrialized, intelligent, civilized countries ban high fructose corn syrup, but not in this country. Oh no, because there's too much money to be made with it.
Yeah,
Um, but anyway,
Kenny.
let's talk about
Susan
puppies.
wants to know if you knit or crochet.
You do both. Granny D had to leave us. I'm sorry. I hope I.
No, I don't do that, Susan. I just enjoy following and supporting other channels that do. Um, I,
He likes watching me do it.
I personally, I personally would not have the patience or the dexterity to even do it. So
Kenny, I said the exact same thing 6 years ago. I said those exact words.
yeah,
I'll bet you could if you
Yeah, I
ever
said those
want to
exact
try.
words.
Yeah.
I said to the lady, I said, look, I'm like, Laura, I could never do that. And she goes, yeah, you could. I said, no. And I mean, look at me now. I make Afghans.
yeah.
I make scarves.
I mean,
I make dishcloths. I do it all.
I even look at the progress I've made in the past year in terms of
Oh,
like
yeah.
the level of complexity of the things that I do.
I bet you last
And
year I would have never done that scarf I showed you. Because
hmm
I rebuke purling if I have to do it. If I don't have to do it, I won't.
well, earlier I was saying, because I mean, ostensibly, this whole topic Tuesday was about like what have we accomplished in the past year and what are our goals in the next year. But of course, we got way off track, which we always do, and I like that too. Um, but I was saying that like a year ago, I would not have imagined that I would do the patterns that I've done, the kind of patterns that I've done. I mean, I've got a Tunisian pattern out there, and a year ago I was saying I hated Tunisian, and right now I'm working on a second Tunisian pattern.
Mama Riz,
So,
my grandfather's passed. He passed in. She's saying, Kimmy, I hope your mom told your grandpa not to use names that were unkind to you. People can't call people names. It was he didn't he drank his coffee black. It was just he was teasing people.
I
He
drink
was
my
not being
coffee
mean or
black
nothing. He was just teasing
most
people.
of the time.
actually, you know, especially as they get older, people sometimes say things that are regrettable.
Yeah. Like my cousin, when my cousins get together, we'll tease each other. We'll call each other like names, but we know it's in fun.
Yeah.
I know Mama Riz.
But
I'll give you an example. My sister at my cousin's wedding in September, my sister is a tomboy. And my cousin said to me, he goes, Cam, when did you get a brother? Me and he met my sister. And I said, Frank, I've always had one. She didn't even care. My sister don't care if you call her a girl or a boy. Because she could beat every kid in this neighborhood in any sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you she could to this day. Listen, I'm 301 pounds. I'm just over 300 pounds. And I bet you she's 110 or so, give or take. I'm terrified of her.
Yeah.
I am terrified of my sister. Does that tell you something? And I'm older than her. And I'm terrified of her. Because I know she could whip my behind. On any given day, at any given time. Because we have a saying, don't look at Morgan the wrong way or you're going to get yourself beat. And it's true. You look at her the wrong way, she'll get you. Whether it's with her words or her fists. Oh,
Oh.
I found a whole bunch of keychains today at the store.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, hey, Mimi Cat Do.
Hi, Mimi.
hey,
I'm coming
Mimi.
over to your house tonight, Mimi.
I just realized we've been on for about 2 hours. My goodness gracious. I usually don't go this long on a Tuesday, but it has been lovely. I really do need to call it to a close, though.
Oh yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly.
Last
So,
night I was doing this Tunisian scarf.
mhm.
My mom comes in to say goodnight. I look at my clock to my left. It was 9:20.
And
I
the next
started at
time you
like
looked at your
8.
clock, it was midnight, right?
Oh yeah. I usually try and I've got on my phone. I set my alarm to like tell me to wind down at 9:45 because I go to bed at 10:30. But I have that. Oh, I'll just watch one more video syndrome.
Oh, I do that too. I shouldn't
Oh
take
yeah.
my phone to bed with me, but I do.
Well, I gotta. If y'all are wondering why I'm high, I got a new chair made for fat people,
I like the chair.
and it's kind of nice. I sit up high. I prefer it high,
Mm-hmm.
but my feet don't touch the floor.
Well, if you're so comfortable, then that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I could
Any-
actually put my feet up.
Anyway, I'm just going to call it a day because we've been on for 2 hours and having a good time. And I want to
Oh,
thank
yeah.
everybody who's here and thank everybody who's on the panel.
Oh, my pleasure,
And
David.
David.
to everybody who's here, I would just remind you to like, subscribe, comment, share, all the standard YouTube crap, and keep coming back. And thank you, everybody, so much. And bye-bye now.
Bye.